Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. Every Friday and Saturday, we'll take a look at an up-and-coming North American player to learn more about their personality and their playstyle. Over 4 weeks, we'll take a look at 8 players before they participate in the Breakout Invitational for over $1,000. Let's learn a little bit about the next Breakout player.
Alright, hello. This is Anton, aka SLeet. This is my application video for Breaking Out Season 4. I'm Anton, I'm 21, and I play Zerg in StarCraft 2. For a living, I don't do anything right now. I'm a full-time student at San Jose State University. I'm going to be graduating in the spring, so in about 4 months. I am almost exactly the same size and weight, or height and weight, as Day 9, which is pretty funny. Describe my playstyle. I really like macroing and being really reactive and being kind of greedy and being like, I can get away with whatever I want. I sometimes like being really aggressive, mostly in GVC, but in the other two matchups, I really like just playing a lot of lane baneling type counterattack mass upgrade into Ultralisk styles. I think those are really fun. Why do I deserve the chance to be the next breakout player? I've been kind of in the sort of high-level amateur scene for a while now. Probably like a year and a half, almost 2 years. I'm okay, you know, I'm pretty good. But I stream and I coach, and a lot of players know me, and I think I have the potential to be really good. So that's why I think I deserve the chance. And the last question is, what does StarCraft mean to you? I think of StarCraft as kind of a reflection of my attitude about life in general. That's because I think that in StarCraft, if you work really hard and are consistent every day, then you can be really good. And I think that's really important to be able to do somewhere. And I talk to people about this, and they basically say, you know, oh, you know, you're so good at this, you know, why, how, teach me. And I basically have to tell them that I just worked really hard and continue to work really hard. Being able to see the clear results of that is really satisfying and really nice, because I won only because of stuff that I did. That's what StarCraft means to me. It's a place where I can put in hard work and time and see that hard work and time rewarded. So yeah, that's my application video, I guess. Hi, Ravi. Anyone else is watching? I don't know.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players that you need to know about. Today on the show, we're going to be introducing a very awesome Zerg player that goes by the name of Anton SLeet, Bishop the Third of the 7th Moon. How are you doing today, man?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Good.
It's a long name.
I have a different name, but other than that, I'm pretty good.
Okay, well, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, man. I know you as Anton, I know you of Anton Bishop, and I know you as SLeet. So why don't you go ahead and just introduce your own full name, because it's a long one, man.
Yeah, it is. I'm Anton Bischoff Frederick with a hyphen, and my ID is SLeet. So you can call me Anton or SLeet. Just forget the last name. It's too long and you'll mess it up anyway.
All right. Well, how are you doing today, man? I'm glad to finally have you on the show, actually. I know you've applied in the past.
I think my teammate SWS was on in Season 1, so I applied. I saw him on the show and said, I want to be on the show, so I applied the next 3 seasons. Finally got in, so yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, and actually, let's just kind of jump into where you're at right now. You mentioned in your application video that everyone actually just saw that you're attending university right now at San Jose State, which is really freaking awesome, but you didn't actually mention what you were studying, even though you said you were going to be graduating soon.
I'm actually at San Jose State right now. This is my exciting dorm room. It's a bed, and that's it. I'm studying communications, and I'm graduating in 2 months.
Through the magic of having everything done pre-recorded. Oh my god, guys, it's not live. Oh, everybody freak out. You also mentioned that you actually just got a job recently, so congratulations on that. What are you planning to do?
I'm actually going to work at a company that deals with adding solar panels to people's houses. I get to go to people's houses and tell them to save the environment and give me money for it. So that's pretty good.
That's freaking awesome, man. Is that exactly what you wanted to go into? Is that kind of the field or what you wanted to do with your communications degree?
It's not quite what I wanted to do. I wanted to work more in maybe in internal management or human resources, but I was looking for jobs and I found this opportunity and it seemed really good. So I went and interviewed and the guy hired me within like 24 hours.
You're a peppy guy. What is the source of your optimism, the source of your peppy happiness?
That's not a question I get asked very much. Day 9, probably. I don't actually know. It's more that I don't really worry about stuff that I don't control. So I just try really hard at the stuff that I can control, and that comes across as peppy.
You mentioned in your application video that you feel like StarCraft is one of those games that really rewards hard work, and that not only that, you're also a hardworking player yourself. So what kinds of things have you done to kind of put in that hard work and that's actually got you to that GM level?
Well, first I started playing, maybe not literally day 1 of StarCraft 2, but pretty close to day 1. I would every night I would stay up and I'd get my friends and my brother and my dad even, and we'd all watch a GSL and didn't take notes because I'm not a big note taker, but paid really close attention. And it's actually watching GSL. I switched to Zerg. I used to play Protoss, so I watched a ton of GSL and studied games. And I've actually watched every Day 9 daily ever, and because that was just part of my research. I really wanted to be good, and Day 9 is quite good and has a good analysis show. And I've done a ton of replay analysis, hours and hours and hours of just mechanical training, making sure that in the middle of things I can successfully hit V and then U to build an Ultralisk Cavern, like that kind of thing. And I've played actually not as many games as some players, but I have played somewhere in the realm of 10,000 games. So just playing a lot.
Wow, that 10,000 games is quite a few games. So it sounds like you've really put in the time and also kind of getting in on the ground level in that sense and really making sure that you've been able to not just put in time, but you've been there from the beginning. You've had that good variety of experience. And speaking of experience, you're a Zerg player. I'm sure you've played a lot of ZVZs in your day from all the different eras of ZVZ. Tell us, how's your ZVZ feeling right now? Because you mentioned your application video. I feel like this is the matchup that you have a pretty aggressive style in, which is sort of different from your other matchup.
Yeah, my ZVZ right now is actually not feeling very good. I'm working with one of my teammates. We're modifying one of Kane's ZVZ styles for me, which I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot, but by the time of the actual invitational, I should have pretty solid. So that'll be something to look forward to. But I do like being really aggressive. I love Ling Banley Micro. It's pretty fun.
You also mentioned not just Ling Banley Micro, but a lot of counterattacks, and you even kind of mentioned mass upgrade style into Ultralisk play. So could you elaborate on that? Tell us a bit more about that.
So especially, not as much this season, but especially last season, there were a ton of multiple player maps, and there were a lot of really open maps. The only one that wasn't that open is Overgrowth, but counterattacks are still really good. So I'd basically pretend I was playing old school ZVP and just get 1-1 upgrades and just only counterattack the whole game. And if he would just attack with, I don't know, a bunch of Roach Baneling or something I couldn't hold, I'd just base trade him because Zerglings kill buildings really quickly. I would generally try to get some infestors later, like 4 infestors, and then mass ultras because I love ultralisks. It's pretty scientific.
Pretty scientific. I'm glad you put the thought into this, but that's actually a really, really interesting style. So first of all, base trades, something that I think a lot of players feel pretty uncomfortable with. Is that something that you kind of intentionally delved into to try and gain that comfort?
I have a bit. I've kind of pulled back on that a little bit now, and instead of going straight to ultras, maybe gone into some muta play first, to avoid, well, not to avoid base trades, but to be better at the base trade. So I've definitely done quite a few of them, and that's actually one of the reasons why I started going double upgrade in ZVZ, is so that I would be forced to base trade more, and that was the correct decision. So, pretty comfortable with them now.
That is super interesting. And Ultralisk also, I've got to say, not exactly the most common unit. You've been around in StarCraft for a while. You know the common saying of Zergs. If you want to lose a game as Zerg, you go make Ultralisk. This is the easiest way to just throw a game away that you already had a lead in. So, not feeling that way about Ultralisk then?
It depends on the matchup and the timing. But in general, no. I think Ultralisks can be really, really strong if you use them well.
What is that kind of timing, or what is the kind of good point to use Ultralisks then? How do you make that decision?
Generally, if I'm taking a 5th base ever, I'm just going to go up to Ultralisks. I think generally the issue with Ultralisks is that you don't have enough of them, or your upgrades are bad. The only exception is if you're playing against a Protoss and they go Immortal Archon, and then you just have to build not Ultralisks. But other than that, you're pretty much okay.
As a Protoss player who's exploited that quite a bit versus many Zergs back in the day going Ultras, Archons are amazing. Archons are one of the best units. So in your Zerg versus Zerg, if you had to describe one strength and one weakness in the matchup, what would those two things be?
My strength is probably my map awareness is generally really good. Sometimes I mess up a little bit on it, but in general I have a really good grasp of how the map is playing out and where I can attack and defend. Weakness is probably getting fungal growth with my counterattack force. Once you get fungal one time, it generally ends the game.
But that's cool. Well, you know, we're going to go ahead and see an actual example of your ZVZ. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
It's game time! Zerg versus Zerg.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Zerg versus Zerg. Today I am joined by my very special guest, the man behind most of the things good on the show, at CNC Cybert. How you doing today, man?
I was doing really well until you introduced me that way. Now, not so much.
For those who don't know, Cybert does all the cool animations, the transitions. He basically does everything that's awesome about the show, and he also makes all the awesome trailers for the Invitational, and everything that's poorly edited and all the mistakes are usually mine. So, with that being said, Cybert going to be joining me because he's also a fantastic commentator, does a lot of Command and Conquer work, and we're going to be starting up here in the top right-hand corner of the map on top of the red Zerg player. He is the enemy today. He is a snake. Literally, it's actually just a snake at the keyboard.
He is a viper in the bushes, but the man of the day. In the southern position, the blue Zerg player from PSISTORM Gaming, this is SLeet.
Do vipers really live in bushes? Is that a thing?
Look, it's overgrowth. There are bushes on overgrowth, and he's a snake. So I felt like it was justified. Besides, just like specifically with your intro of like an hour long before we even got to the player intros, I felt it was okay.
What do you think this is, man? Legacy of the Void? No, we don't have any like immediate action that ends up happening, except within this game where we end up having fairly early spawning pools going down. I believe this was a 10 pool from Snake or something, and a 14 pool from SLeet. So Snake definitely looking to be a bit aggressive early on.
Yeah, I didn't see the exact timings either, but they were certainly earlier. We do have the potential hatchery coming down there from SLeet, and of course, Snake. He's got no such thing on his radar, at least not just yet, but he also hasn't started his gas, so it's not going to be like a speedling all-in. We're going to actually see where he goes with this.
Yeah, finally does throw down that gas geyser, and we'll see whether or not, because as you were saying, there's a potential for a speedling all-in. There's also all kinds of baneling attacks that you can do. kind of depends on what you decide to spend that gas on. But I want to note the important thing that SLeet's going to realize here is, wait a second, you still haven't taken that hatchery yet. What's going on? He sees the hatchery going down now, but that is a bit on the later side. I mean, for comparison's sake, SLeet did not go for a hatch first, and his hatchery is already almost 75% complete. He's got to know that this was an early pool opening.
Yep, for sure. It's going to be one of the big tip-offs for him, like you were talking about. Now, we've got the 4 drones on, 4 lings on the way for Snake. So how far exactly is he going to go with these lings? Well, that's kind of going to be the first big tell. He may head all the way across the map. I'm not sure that he'll actually be able to do all that much with them, but that may be his first destination, is the natural of his opponent.
Curiously enough, though, Snake is starting to drone up a little bit. He's just now starting up that Zergling speed. SLeet's going to move in, and I don't think... actually, he may have actually seen the... Yeah, he just barely saw the gas geyser. That's actually really, really important. Knowing that the gas geyser is down, he doesn't know what's going to be used with that gas. He doesn't know if there's a baneling nest or if speed's being researched. But, whoa, Cybert. Did Zergling speed get canceled and then a Roach Warden thrown down?
I'm not actually sure, but certainly we do have the Roach Warren halfway completed for Snake. Oh, buddy. We all thought it was going to be some sort of Zergling play, but no. Snake, he's proving he's devious, going for those roaches.
Yeah, gonna be poking in over here, seeing what SLeet actually has right now. SLeet already has a Spine Collar in a really nice position, as well as the Baneling Nest going up, but I'm not sure if Banelings are exactly gonna be the counter response that he really wants versus what we end up seeing from Snake.
Yeah, that's kind of the big tell for SLeet, is he's going for this response, which he's assuming is going to be coming... Ooh, actually loses a drone there. A little bit unfortunate. But, yeah, it's playing more so, I would think, like he thinks Snake is going for lings. But there's going to be the lair for SLeet just now starting. And more drones. I mean, if you've been looking at the production tab, Snake has just been pumping out the drones.
Yeah, so Snake... playing pretty tricky, man. He's kind of, I want to say he's like a snake baiting the mouse into preparing for defenses, got the spine crawlers going and everything. SLeet's not over preparing for defenses, really. I mean, if you just take a look at the unit counting station, now that these players actually have any Zerglings or units out on the map, it's all just kind of drones being made right now. So SLeet is going to be going for that faster lair tech. We'll see what he's able to do with it. Snake, on the other hand, I think just trying to go for as many roaches as possible. Maybe we might finally see that kind of big timing that Snake wants to hit with the +1 missile attacks finishing up.
Yeah, I guess one opportunity for any player who goes lair like SLeet is that 2-base Muta play. Although I guess it won't quite be 2-base Muta, as he takes his 3rd hatchery right there. And again, that's going to be significantly ahead of that of his opponent. And also, I do want to highlight that SLeet does have his Overlord just watching that 3rd. He wants to make sure he knows when his opponent is taking his own 3rd.
Yeah, that's really important. And I like what you were talking about, you know, the 2-base Muta play, or just even effectively 2-base Muta, considering the Mutalist, or the Spire got thrown down almost immediately after the 3rd. But SLeet did kind of say in his interview, he likes to play that slightly more aggressive style, likes to go for that kind of roundabout, base trade-ish almost situation sometimes. And I mean, this is about as base trade as you can get of a situation, potentially, with Snake going for the roaches that are going to be looking for that straight-up engagement. And SLeet's going to be trying to keep his opponent at home when the Mutalist basically just seize up map control and stop his opponent from ever moving out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, Mutalisks technically do, in a way, hard counter the roaches, but, like you were talking about, it can lead to those base trade scenarios where really the Muta player, his best option is because how quickly those roaches are just killing off his main and all of his stuff. He's like, well, I guess I'll just fly across the map and try to kill your stuff. So it certainly could turn that way. We may be seeing something like that. For now, Snake, though, he's mostly staying on his side of the map.
Yep, we do have the Spire finishing up, and SLeet's going to be able to pump out some of those Mutalists, but where we're sitting on the upgrades right now for Snake.
Well, surprisingly, Snake has not even Zergling speed at this point, but we do have that +1 on the way. It's so close to finishing. Actually, it does just finish right there. And then, of course, Roach speed. So, other than those first 4 Zerglings, I guess he hasn't actually built any Lings. I mean, it makes sense that he never got the speed, but it's kind of weird to see that.
Yeah, well, we finally do have the Mutals out on the map, so this is actually kind of illy timed, I would say, for Snake, but I mean really well timed for SLeet. But the Mutals pop out right as I imagine Snake would want to try to put on some of that pressure that we were talking about, go for the attack, but I mean he can't. Look at this, the roaches are just starting to get picked off, and oh, actually I really do like the fact though that Snake already has the Spore Callers set up and ready to defend.
Yep. I guess Snake was able to see the signs, the writing on the wall, as it were, able to throw down those defenses. Also has his infestation pit almost completed, but again, the roaches are nowhere near in an offensive position. They're just kind of in awkward spots.
Yeah, a couple of them trying to go for some run-by attack, but the Zerglings managed to clean those guys up, the rest of the roaches. And we've already had 9, maybe even 10 roaches. No, just 9 roaches going down to just Mutalisk harassment almost entirely. So Snake not really accomplishing anything so far.
He is droning, though. That's the kind of nice thing for him, is he's keeping his economy not exactly on par with SLeet, but he is relatively close.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that it is relatively close. He's going to be able to start catching up. He hasn't been mining from this third quite as long as SLeet has, but SLeet just wants to stay that one step ahead. He's going for the 4th expansion. The kind of trade-off here is the fact that infestors are going to be on the way, with pathogen glands actually being researched. Something that you sometimes see in ZVZ, but not super often.
Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes if you see the big roach v roach, one player might go for hydras, one player might end up going for infestors. One of those kind of differences that happens. In this particular case, though, I mean, we've all kind of these mutas trying to look for an opening, but coming back to the mutas and the infestors, we've all seen those money fungals where the mutas just all get trapped, they're clumped up too much, and that could happen.
Yeah, like what SLeet's doing over here. Gotta be careful with that Spore Caller. He managed to pick off a Gas Geyser, which might not seem like the biggest deal, but picking off a Gas Geyser when your opponent is trying to pump in as many infestors as possible, it really starves them for gas. So any kind of damage, free damage like that is going to be very, very nice for SLeet. Obviously, he's continuing to produce Mutalisk, which is almost kind of justifying the infestor switch from Snake, which is sort of interesting, but SLeet's just got to be really careful about these Mutalisks.
Yeah, we do have Hydras on the way soon enough from Snake. Otherwise, he's just getting that Hydra Den as a bit of a decoration. So potentially with the Infestor and Hydra combo, we could really see these Mutalisks be thwarted. Although they're running in, they do pick off an Infestor. A nice move there, maybe a bit risky, because if Snake had been on top of his control, that could have turned out very differently.
Yeah, that could have gone very, very poorly. He's going after some of the Spore Callers now. Luckily for him, there is, in fact, no Infestor. Oh, God, the Infestors have found the fungal growth. Okay, well, he's doing damage. He's going to kill the Infestation Pit, maybe? It's not really worth it, but... Oh, God.
Those Hydras. They're showing up just a little bit too late. But yeah, all right, so let's try to find something here for SLeet, because obviously he just suicided almost 20-something Mutalisks. But he got the Hydra Den, he got the Infestation Pit, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, similarly, he also has something else going for him. The fact that I think that his haircut is, you know, it looks pretty good right now. So maybe his dating life is going well. Outside of that, I'm not sure how he defends against this push.
With some incredible Baneling hits. Now here come, well, actually there's another fungal growth locking down a lot of and once more, these roaches are standing relatively strong. The other units are a bit squishier and a bit more susceptible to the lings, and the mutas will clean up everything else.
What?
He's actually all right with the remax on the mutas, man.
Oh my God. I think that SLeet's game plan going into that must have been deal with the anti-air, because he kills off the Hydras. I think with the I want to say with the Baneling hits, and he target fires down the Infestors. He moves in with the Mutals after everything else. So I think the fungal growths are already utilized on the Banelings, on the Zerglings, and the Mutals are able to clean up.
Yeah,
that
cancels the 4th as well. So he's going to be staying ahead in that eco game, which is the place where SLeet has been consistently ahead all game long. Oop, donates a couple of Mutalisks over by the 3rd base of Snake. Oh, small mistake there. But overall, I mean, he is still ahead on drones, and he's the one establishing a 5th base, while his opponent is still sitting on 3, plus the macro hatch.
Yeah, we got Hive Tech coming up from SLeet as well, so he may finally be looking to transition a little bit, maybe, or I don't know if he's just getting it for upgrades or what, but continuing to make Banelings and Zerglings and Mutalisks. I mean, I've seen Zerg players go for Mutalisks versus the Roach style, but generally you start to stop it, you tend to stop around 10 Mutalisks because you just seize up map control, and that's all you really need them for. Then you start to transition to Roaches. SLeet is sticking with these guys, and after that last engagement, I don't know, I'm starting to believe, man.
You're starting to believe in the power of the Mutas as they dart into the main base. They're going to clean up a couple of Overlords, not necessarily the kills that you're really looking for, but hey, you know what? Some people will take whatever they can get, and as long as he doesn't fight too many Hydras, he shouldn't take that much damage, although more Hydras are coming up the ramp. He may need to evacuate right here, right now. All right, he does fly on out of there. Not too many losses, I don't think, either.
Yeah, I mean, he gets some good damage done. He kills off a couple of the queens. That's going to slow down the larva injects. Of course, Snake has plenty of larva to work with right now, sitting at 23, and I mean, even has some of those macro hatches available, so shouldn't be the biggest deal in the world. But the big thing, I think, is the fact that SLeet is doing damage on the right-hand side of the map, and then he moves back in for the left-hand side of the map. So you can see he's looking to try and get it canceled, but I think that this time Snake is actually relatively prepared for it. Oh? Actually,
well, I mean, this, yeah, the fourth base is going to be going down. This is a lot of Zerglings committed over here, and of course, the army has already been pulled by Snake, so he's not exactly committing to killing all of these Lings. At the same time, the Mutas are now here. They could end up getting trapped, but the Hydras are busy dealing with the Lings, and the Roaches aren't in very high numbers.
Oh my god, well, the Mutals gotta be a little bit careful. They do not want to get cornered by these Hydras, but SLeet lost a lot. He's losing a lot more. Oh god, these Mutals were one of the key critical parts of the defense on the last engagement that he actually managed to defend with. But he just lost a lot of units. Does he actually have enough? Well, actually, oh my god.
I mean, he's going for that Ultra Switch. Not super hard, as he's not trading out like all of his supply, but he is bringing up the Ultras. Ooh, going for another engagement. Mostly Roaches here from Snake, but the Hydras unexposed. Okay.
And the money hits.
Normally you think of the Roaches as tanking for the Hydras, so that doesn't happen.
I think that Snake just got a little bit too far ahead of himself with the Roaches. I mean, I can kind of understand why. He had his fourth cancel, I mean, how many times? It's the 20-minute mark. We had SLeet 2 bases up on his opponent, so I'm sure that the time pressure was kind of getting to him. He felt like he just had to go for it, but, you know, not grouping up your Roaches with your Hydras, not having the Roaches there, a tank against the Banelings, I mean, definitely ended up costing Snake, and very well executed defense by SLeet twice.
Yeah, somehow holding off in a pretty dire situation after losing all those Mutas, but pretty solid ZVZ overall.
Indeed. We're going to be jumping back to the interview, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back with the analysis before the interview, because I know the format of my show. Welcome back from the Zerg versus Zerg, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back here with SLeet, and we're going to be doing a bit of an analysis on the game you guys just watched. SLeet, go ahead and take it away. What was interesting about this game?
All right, so right here, this game is pretty interesting because I really like going for a Mutalisk style, and Snake, my opponent, went for Roaches. So if you're going for Roaches and you play Mutalisks, the big thing you want is 3 bases, because you want to get Hydralisks and Infestors to not die to Mass Muta. So my goal is to deny this third as long as possible. And it ends up that he gets his spores out in time, and suddenly I'm unable to do what I want to do. So I immediately am forced to go get a whole bunch more drones and go into double evolution chamber, because eventually what I'm going to want to deal with that Hydralisk Infestor force is some Ultralisks with good upgrades. Alright, so this part of the game is pretty interesting, because if you look at the forces as they stand, most people would say, quite correctly, that I'm dead. He's got a bunch of Infestors with good energy, pretty decent upgrades on his Roach Hydra, and I only have 1/1 Ling Baneling. I've just lost a huge number of Mutalisks to like 5 Fungals, but because of the way that I engage, this style actually allows me to deal with this army pretty well. So I get a good flank, and I move commanding the Banelings to just get the Hydras dead. And suddenly, his Infestors have no energy, and I'm able to clean it up with basically no problem.
So when you moved in over there, were you trying to like keep the Mutalisk back? Make sure, were you afraid about the fungal growths going down on the Mutalisk? Because I saw that they ended up going down on a lot of the Zerglings and even some of the Banelings.
Yeah, the goal was for the Infestors to either die or waste their energy on the Zerglings before the Mutalisks showed up. Because I'm holding with the Mutas, and the Ling Baneling is just allowing me to kill the Hydra Infestor so the Mutas don't die. So at this point in the game, I have my 5th base finished, and I see that he's trying to take this 4th. And the only way that I lose from here, again, is if he gets a really good gas count. So I need to deny this 4th at all costs. So I end up running in with my Lings and realizing I can't do anything, so I just right-click on the hatchery. I'm trying to zone with these Banelings, and I end up getting this hatch. And right now, I know that with my 5 bases and my reinforcement, I've won the game.
Were you concerned at all about losing too many units over there, or you really just feel like, you know, reinforcements and even your upgrades, which you've managed to catch up on, are going to be enough to take any kind of engagement?
No, I really wasn't worried because I knew that with my 5 hatches and my Ultralisk Cavern done, that I could just crank out a big army to kill what he has, and he basically only has 1 army left because it's so late in the game and he doesn't have a 4th.
I see. Thank you very much, SLeet. If that's going to be it, then we're going to go ahead and jump back to the interview segment. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. We will be right back.